Thank the member and call the member for Holt.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and I too would like to commend the member for Grey for his very well worded motion on suicide prevention, particularly in rural and regional areas and elsewhere. I'd like to start my contribution. The member for Grey may know an area called Callington and around Tailem Bend. It's hard farming area. And this story that I relate to the chamber relates to a farmer with a young family who worked the land. He'd been in the Merchant Navy and was a person that was adjusting to rural life in that area. One fine day, that particular individual in his tractor went out and to check a fence. And as he was checking a fence, he had a firearm with him, and that firearm discharged, mortally wounding him. But in the process of then being mortally wounded by that gunshot, he tried to crawl back to his tractor, didn't make it, he died. That man was my father's brother, AJ. And my father took to his grave, my father died in 2016, the hurt and loss of a very treasured, loved brother. And the circumstances of that suicide were always leaving that doubt. And so when the member for Grey raises this very powerful issue, it struck home to me because, as I said, it was something that my father never fully could comprehend or understand. My cousin AJ's daughter Alva died early, and I believe that she was severely impacted by that loss as well. She struggled with mental illness. They lived around Callington and Carricalinga, around there. That family never recovered from that loss. So when the member for Grey talks about rural suicide prevention, he has my wholehearted support, and I support, obviously, the government's funding of these suicide prevention centres because they literally can save lives. How do I know that? Because we had a suicide cluster in the region that I represent in 2011 and 2012. And as I said, coming from a family that had been touched by this, I started seeing around 2011 and 2012 the names on bridges that I would drive past of young people. We had, and it was the same in Albury as well as I understand it. Unfortunately, it's a horrible term. It was a suicide cluster. And that led to me partnering with Australian of the Year Professor Patrick McGorry. We did a program that was run on Four Corners called No 3G on Heaven, and this was encouraging the community to talk about the stigma about suicide and also to sort of get a conversation happening in our area. And what happened as a consequence of that program, and also the receptiveness of the then federal government and then the subsequent Abbott government, was that we had two headspaces that were put in the area, in Dandenong and in Fountain Gate. And the member for Latrobe, Jason Wood, was there when we opened the one in Fountain Gate. I was there in 2013 when we opened the one in Dandenong. That made a meaningful change to young people. It's still not enough, but it's part of the matrix of services that kids can go in and access those services. Those services should be available in rural areas and regional areas. I don't want to have, obviously the member for Grey mentioned, I think I watched his contribution, that he had some experience as well with this. Families don't need to go through this. This is a loss. One suicide is one suicide too many. We need to be doing something as a community, and that's why I welcome in a bipartisan way the support that is being provided with the government. But if we can get something like hubs, like these headspaces, into these areas where farmers and their families can go and seek support without the stigma, without having that reticence to go and start a conversation, which clearly the member for Grey and others are talking about, to destigmatise that, so that farmer that might have been, like my uncle was, in the Merchant Navy, proud, self-sustaining sort of individual, didn't feel the need to end his life in the way in which he did that day many, many years ago. So to the member, I commend the work that he's doing, support the government. We can never talk about this enough. and we should do and continue to do everything we can to stop this horrible event, these events happening in rural and regional areas and in our cities as well. Thank you.
I thank the